Hey, my name is Astronauty and welcome back. It's time to review another weird thing for this channel. And today I actually have an anime, which is fucking insane for me because I haven't really watched an anime like that in a really long time. My anime obsession days are long behind me. Back when I was that girl though, I didn't just want to watch what was popular, I also wanted to watch what was unknown and obscure. I'm a hipster, what can I say? I like to find hidden gems. I ended up watching a really weird anime though, that ended up being so weird that I ended up hating it, and I dropped it within 3 episodes. When I was thinking about what to watch though, now that I have committed to watching weird shit for this channel thanks to how my previous video did, which ended up doing way better than I thought it would. Seriously, okay? Let me just go off topic. Thank you guys so much for the support last time. Seriously, I didn't think that video would get so many views. I thought that video would get like 100 views, but it got like 1,000 views, so thank you guys so much. And I also didn't expect the amount of likes and kind comments, so thank you guys so much, seriously. Anyway, I ended up thinking about this weird ass anime that was hidden deep within the corners of my dinosaur brain. Seriously though, I didn't think of this anime in years and years, so it was really surprising when I thought of it again. And I thought, you know, this would be a good opportunity to rewatch it again now that so many years have gone by. You know, my perspective might have been different, but I have to, you know, finish it all this time. And that anime is called Welcome to Irabu's Office. And I do not want to say the Japanese title because I will end up butchering it and it'll be really cringy. The name is unimportant though, for now. What is important though is what you're seeing on the screen. I mean, it looks like the show has a disease, right? So what is this hodgepodge about? Well, adapted from the novel by Hideo Okuda, Irabu's Office is a 11-episode psychological comedy crack anime by Toei Animation. Oh my god, wow, it was so fucking surprising knowing that Toei Animation animated this. It was the shock, the revelation of my life. It's not like they plastered their fucking logo so often throughout the fucking show. Sellouts. Anyway, the show is about the psychologist Dr. Irabu and his 11 patients. It's an anthology show that takes place within the same week, where we follow the patient of that episode as they navigate through their mental illness, with the illusion that Dr. Irabu is actually helping them. He is also joined by his nurse assistant, bad bitch, which is Mayumi. First of all, I must say, from the very little amount of videos that I put up here, perhaps you agree with me on this point, perhaps you don't, perhaps you have seen it, perhaps you can't see it. But the show has a very whimsical charm and essence to it, which is honestly aided greatly by the main character, Dr. Irabu. He has a very cheeky, infectious, and quirky personality that is the nucleus of the entire show. I especially felt this way when it came to his bare personality, and I also really enjoyed the voice acting when it came to his bare personality too, because it's just so freaking adorable. Come on. I am also incredibly drawn to anthologies where the characters and their stories end up tying together somehow. I'd say it's one of my favorite types of stories because it's just so exciting when 2 characters from separate episodes meet or have met. It just makes it more juicy, bro, you know? And this show honestly does it really well. We occasionally get little cameos of the main characters where we either recognize them because they already had their own episode, or we haven't recognized them when they have their cameo, and we will recognize them when they get their own episode, and we'll be like, oh, I've seen that guy before. Sometimes we only get a glance at the character, while other times the main character just knows another character fully. We can get a scene from one guy's story when he's just observing someone and it isn't really a big part of his story, but for the person that he's observing, they had their own story and that scene was actually a huge part of their story. It makes the show more fun to watch when you try and guess who might be in the next episode. You know, it could be someone that you have seen previously, or it could be a total surprise. Sometimes we have never seen that person before. However, this show is a ginormous mindfuck. Surprise, surprise. Wow. This show goes out of its way to confuse you permanently, indefinitely. It never stops. It gets to the point where I keep questioning if certain aspects of this anime are real or are just hallucinations or just meant to be artsy fartsy, etc. Whatever. I actually disliked this element of the anime because when I watch something, I don't want to just be confused all the time to the point where it's distracting how confusing it is. It distracts me from the stories. First of all, Irabu has 3 forms. The first is a giant green bear. The second is a stoic child. The third is a normal looking man who is rather sophisticated, but he wears green bear ears, so much for being normal. Oh yeah, and also the graffiti on your hair doesn't help, mate. Also the child has graffiti on his hair too. Okay, so the question you're probably asking now is why? And why is one of them a Care Bear? And my answer to that is to not rely on me to answer these questions. Just accept it. Just like how everyone in the fucking anime accepts it. When he is strolling around, no one does a double take. Yeah, you know, I would think that this is like regular show or Shirokuma Cafe, which is the greatest anime of all time, where animals and humans just live together and it's just a part of their world, no one questions it. But Irabu is the only anthropomorphic animal in this world, so. And no, I don't think he's a costume, even though he has human hands. What? He sometimes has different facial expressions, even though we never see his eyes or mouth move, even when he talks. So I think that he actually, literally, is some sort of alien bear creature. The show never tells you about his alter egos as well, nor do they warn you about it. I was so confused when they randomly just turned up in the first episode. And no, Irabu doesn't shapeshift, so there's no body horror in this anime. And here's another one. Apparently, he also has the ability to teleport, because there are certain scenes where Irabu is in a certain spot and then immediately after it just cuts with no fucking warning yet again to him in a completely different spot in the fucking next sentence. Sometimes with a completely different look and personality. And sometimes he appears from fucking thin air. You know, sometimes there are cuts in this anime where he is nowhere to be found, and then in the immediate next sentence, he is suddenly sitting next to the main character or in the fucking same vicinity as him, like he's always been there. And then he proceeds to fuck right off. And then he proceeds to appear again. What the fuck is even going on? It honestly felt like I was watching the fucking sequel where in the previous season they like explained all this shit with how fast they want you to fucking accept this shit. But I do have a bit of a theory that they are hallucinations. Now, I know that sounds like a cop-out, but hear me out. At the beginning of every session that the patient has, they get injected by the nurse Mayumi with what Irabu calls vitamins, and then, and only then, do the humanoid versions of Irabu appear. And can I just say real quick that Mayumi has the easiest job in the world? I mean, shit. She even does less work than Irabu, which is saying a fucking lot. She injects the patients, and that is all. And apparently, she doesn't even do it right. Oh yeah, sorry. I almost forgot about that time in the first episode where she made coffee. Yeah, I'm really, really sorry. I feel really bad about almost forgetting about that incredible feat. Wow. Do you know what though? She didn't even come out. She just wheeled the fucking wheelie table in. Didn't even show her fucking face. The fuck? And when she's not doing those things, which is like 99% of the time, she is in the back reading and smirking, which is a real shame because she's way too pretty to smirk. And also, why do so many characters in this anime smirk? It's fucking disgusting. It's a goddamn disgrace. I mean, Mayumi even criticizes one of the patients for smirking too much. Fucking the hypocrisy. Okay, so sorry, back to what I was saying. Yeah, he definitely likes that shit. But with what exactly? The list could go on, except it can't because there aren't many hallucinogenic drugs that can be injected. The show doesn't really tell you if the patient is tripping out, nor are there any implications. I don't even know if my theory is fact. What baffles me even more though is that the patients never react to Irabu's changing appearances. Like, they just think that shit is normal. Whether they are tripping out or not, you expect some sort of reaction. But no. Not even the slightest eyebrow raise. They just accept it. Just like how the show expects you to accept it. Well, I bloody can't. I just want to know the origins of these characters and why no one gives a shit. Is that too much to ask? It's quite absurd that Irabu's bare self is his normal version as well. I mean, you'd think that it'd be one of the hallucination personalities or whatever the fuck they are, especially since when the patients get uber high, they themselves turn into like animal caricatures, but only the audience can see this because it's meant to be like some sort of artsy-fartsy metaphor for their inner psyches. For example, the boy who had a phone addiction, he was a woodpecker. The man who had intrusive thoughts, he was a chameleon. The circus trapeze artist man, he was a bird. The injected patient doesn't see this. Irabu doesn't see this. No one in the world can see this. Only the audience can see this. Well, I'm like 75% sure that this is the case. You know, I've come to the conclusion that anything is possible with this anime, and seeing as the population doesn't care that Five Nights at Freddy's is a reality for them, they may not give a shit that they can transform into their own personas. Or who knows, maybe Irabu is also a normal man, and maybe only the audience can see that he is this transforming moldy bear? I don't know. I'm just throwing every theory, every thought I have out there because you never know. What is plain to see though is that there are a lack of questions being raised in this anime. Why do the patients just fucking sit there and accept that they are being injected with a mysterious liquid administered by an extremely sketchy creature and his cosplaying assistant in his comically large and colorful office down a creepy ass hallway? And why the fuck don't they feel the need to question why a psychologist of all doctors feels the need to inject them? It's like the people in this world are crazy themselves, which would actually make this whole thing believable. But they are not actually crazy. I mean, they do have rather extreme mental states, but they are not crazy. What would be more believable though is if questions were banned in their world. They never ever consent to the injections either. Mayumi just forces the needle inside their fucking vein. There was even a guy who really didn't want to get injected. Like, he was running away crying and shit. They had to grab his arm so he would stop running. Irabu seems really desperate to inject these patients. Like, he cannot wait. It makes him giddy with excitement just by him thinking about these patients getting fucking hurt. He's a bloody sadist. I think that now is a good time to mention that in an episode, he had a whine that a rival hospital was corrupt. To be honest, as a psychologist, Irabu is the worst I have ever fucking seen. He doesn't give them therapy. You know, the reason why people come to him in the first place. Is therapy and psychology the same thing? I don't know, okay. I'm just gonna use them interchangeably. I'm just gonna pretend that they are, if they aren't. He just diagnoses the patient and then he proceeds to follow them around as they live out their daily lives. I mean, okay, fine. I guess that's allowed in this universe. Do they ask why? Really? But what I do have a hard time believing is that he actually has time to be in his office when he's constantly outside fucking about with a patient. What I also have a hard time believing is that some guy's therapist is tagging along with them and no one fucking gives a shit. And he's fucking transforming and teleporting and shit. There are people who he tags along with whose friends don't acknowledge his presence. There was even a time when he was in a baseball field in the middle of a professional game and he was pacing back and forth in front of the pitching mound while the pitcher was pitching. I was thinking beforehand that Irabu following the patients around on the outside was actually their hallucinations. I mean, the majority of the time it's his human form. It would explain why none of the patient's friends would really question it. But then there was an episode where there was this guy who blatantly wasn't his patient and he fucking blatantly noticed him. What the fuck is happening? And it's not like he's that useful in these outings or in general, of course. You know, he doesn't really do anything. He doesn't give out information really on their mental conditions. So we have another guy instead of Irabu who does that instead. Fukuichi of Fuji TV. Whatever the hell that is. He pauses the show briefly in order to give actual knowledge of the mental illness and so that the audience doesn't get too lost. And when Irabu does do something, it's usually just him saying something bullshit or derivative. Some of the time, he causes mischief in the outside world, and some of the time, he goes out of his way to make things even worse for the patient. He sometimes even gives out confidential information about his patients to other patients, like gossiping about them and shit, which is like illegal. Don't get it twisted. I am aware that this show isn't meant to be realistic. I mean, duh. But I just think that it's absolutely absurd that they get cured within a week. Yeah, I'm no expert, but even I know that mental illnesses cannot be cured within a week. Especially with how extreme some of these illnesses are, and especially because Irabu is shite. One good thing goes right for the patient, whether Irabu helped or not, which is like, never. And all of a sudden, they do not need psychiatric help anymore. And I put cured in quotation marks because in some of the cases, they continue to suffer just the same as they did prior to seeing him, apparently, because it's treatment. But like, they don't need to see him anymore or visit any other psychiatrist anymore. Come on, I mean, at least give the patients fucking refunds. What are you doing? What kind of ass backwards treatment is this? I mean, could you imagine if your fucking psychiatrist was like, you're too fucked. fucked, okay? Bye. Oh wait, hold on a second. Let me just shoot you with some LSD. What is going on? Were these cases of the writers just forgetting to finish the episodes, or did they genuinely just give up? Because I could believe either. It would have been pretty cool if they continued to suffer and weren't deemed cured by the end of the week, and they had to still go see Irabu off screen, or better yet, anyone else. But nah, the show insinuates that that's it. They're done seeing psychologists, they're done seeing therapists, whatever. It wouldn't have been that bad if the show just knew that he was a bad psychologist, but no. Okay, they keep dick riding, they keep meat suckling, they think that he is the best doctor ever. They go out of their way multiple times to say how incredible he is at his job. Yeah, and you know what? He's even the vice chairman of the hospital. Why? The people who fucking gave him that position must have a mental illness then. There was even an episode where a patient goes out of their way to recommend Irabu to another person, even though Irabu didn't do shit for the patient. Okay, fine, I'm wrong, you know, a little bit. He tells the patient to go buy eyewear. Yeah, that's a very nice job you did, doctor. You know, does medical school still take 10 years in this world? According to Fukuichi, he is an excellent doctor who is recognized by experts in his field. Yeah, cool story, bro. And speaking of mental illnesses, I don't really have much to say about the mental illnesses that they put in this anime, but they put OCD 4 times here. That's 4 times out of 11. That's almost half the fucking show. Come on. Put in some other shit. Okay, well, to their credit, they put in different types of OCD, you know, for the most part. They put intrusive thoughts, a phobia, which I didn't know was OCD, but according to this show, it is, and compulsive checking. Twice. Really? Twice? I mean, they check different things, but come on, it's the same fucking illness. And really? 4 times? I mean, there are cacophony of different mental illnesses to choose from. Or maybe it's because most mental illnesses aren't quirky enough for this show. Okay, for the record, no mental illness is quirky. That is just insulting. But because of how the show wants to portray itself and how wacky it wants to be, I highly doubt that mental disorders such as depression or psychopathy would even be options. There was also an instance of someone suffering with a mental disorder that's not even in the real world. They just made that shit up. There was a guy suffering from priapism, which is persistent erection, which has nothing to do with the mind. I mean, Fukuichi even comes in and says that it has nothing to do with the mind. So they admit that they basically retcon that shit. Yeah. I wonder why they put that shit in there. Maybe they just thought that dicks were funny. Well, apparently in the chickenpox riddled world of this anime, a permanent boner can be caused by you getting no bitches, or you being a massive pushover and can't stand up for yourself. So, you know, something else has to stand up for you. And also, in the 11 episodes, only the patients were men, no women. That's a shame, you know. I wanted a woman to spice shit up a little bit, but no, I guess they just wanted a sausage fest. I'd like to now talk about an aspect of this anime that was probably very noticeable as soon as I showed you guys videos of this anime. You know, it probably came at you like a big fat fucking punch in your face, and that would be the visuals. To be honest, I didn't really like it, to the point where it was actually kind of disgusting to me. I mean, I generally liked the 2D characters for the simple fact that they actually have lips. Because if there's one thing that I cannot stand when it comes to anime, is that no one has fucking lips.
Where are your lips at? You kiss like this. Mwah, mwah.
So it was nice to actually see some fucking lips. But I fucking hated the real life faces that they would constantly put on the patient main characters. I mean, come on. This speaks for itself, right? How disgusting this shit is. I mean, look at this. Oh, it feels like my eyes are getting strangled. This is so bad that it actually takes away from the show. And it is so fucking yuck. That is actually one of the worst parts of the show. And I usually don't care for visuals that much. I mean, I didn't even care for whether Dead Goes to Die's visuals. It's more about the content of something's character. But there are exceptions. Whenever they came on screen, I just had the massive urge to look away. But unfortunately, there's no English dub, so I had to keep my eyes on the screen at all times to catch the subs. I also hate how only the faces are live action. They keep retaining the anime hair and clothes. It's just so fucking badly done. It's not like they only had IRL faces, you know, think tellers, you know, sometimes they had 2D faces, which is what they should have stuck to. And I also feel like it would have taken more effort to implement the fucking IRL faces. Sometimes it's okay to not be unique. With Mayumi, it's the opposite. The majority of the time, she's played by an IRL actress, and I actually like this. It suits her. First of all, let's just state the obvious here. She's pretty. Second of all, she doesn't retain her anime hair and anime clothes. Third of all, I thought that doing the IRL shit only with Mayumi is a good idea. Because she's one of the two main characters, it makes her stand out more, you know? It makes her more of a unique character. But unfortunately, the fact that there are other characters that have IRL faces, it makes Mayumi's distinctiveness diminish just a tad. If the patients were like her and were fully live action, I would still be complaining, but you know, not as much. Speaking of the art and what I did not like about it in this anime, I did not like the polka dots and the fucking other patterns that they would plonk onto the backgrounds. It looks fucking garish and, you know, disease-ish. Yes, I know that this is a silly show, and yes, the backgrounds do match its quirkiness, and honestly, I appreciate that. I don't really think that normal backgrounds would have suited here, but you know, it doesn't mean I can't dislike what they came up with. And I know what some of y'all might be thinking. Victoria, you said that Where the Dead Goes to Die's backgrounds are ugly, but you liked that they were ugly. Well, I would rather take ugly over obnoxious any day. The background suited Where the Dead Goes to Die is what I'm saying. While here, the backgrounds are just fucking painful. Anyway, if I had to say what my favorite episode in this anime was, it would be episode 5 with the man with the intrusive thoughts who needed more spice in his life. I just thought that the shenanigans and mischief he got up to was hilarious. And my least favorite episode would have to be episode 8. Mainly because I don't understand the Yakuza, nor do I really give a shit. To be honest, anything gang related is boring and cringy to me. I mean, I just see a bunch of man children frolicking around, trying to act tough in the most pathetic displays imaginable. Unfortunately, while I liked some episodes, I would have to say that I didn't really fuck with the majority of them. I'd say that I only liked 3 episodes, with the 5th episode to me being more than good. Overall, I'll give the show a 4 out of 10, and I'm really upset because this nail broke. This nail broke. This one is still intact. This is how long my other nail was. I think I broke it while I was recording this video, so shit. Yeah, that is like weeks worth of progress just gone, vanished somewhere in this room. Can't find it. I think it's here actually. No, it's not. No, it's not. Is it? I think it's another nail. No, it's this nail. Oh my god, I found it. Look. Oh, you can't look. It's too difficult. Let me try and fucking pinch it. It's hard because I have raptor claws. There. I just need fucking super glue now. Oh. This, I know it looks tiny. You can't really see it, right? It looks tiny, but this is fucking weeks worth of progress right here in my thumb. No, you just have to be fucking weak. You are not resilient at all, okay? Goodbye. And before I leave you all today, I have one important question that I need to ask. Why is the Japanese title for this anime Kuuchuu Buranko? Kuuchuu Buranko is translated to flying trapeze in English. What the fuck? Only the first episode had a flying trapeze in it. Why name your entire anime off of something that is barely here? I even looked it up online. Does Kuuchuu Buranko mean something in psychology in Japan? Nothing came up. I mean, okay, something came up. This show. It seems that the English localization knew this, and you know, that's why they changed the title to Welcome to Irabu's Office, which is a great title. It's a perfect title, actually. They should have named the actual Japanese title this, but like in Japanese. To those more informed than I, can I ask you all something? Is it normal for English localization teams to completely change the name of a show from its original translation? Because from the top of my head, I can't really think of an instance like that. And I can think of anime titles in particular that are just crying out for an English localization team to change their fucking titles. That just goes to show that the title of this anime was just fucking bad. Maybe I'll make a video of like me looking at some horrendous anime titles, because when I was looking at this show, there was like this recommended show that I saw, and that the name made me laugh. The fucking name made me laugh, bitch. And it just made me think of this idea. And that is all for this video. That's all I have to say about this anime. It's a lot. I had to say a lot. It was a monolithic amount, I must say. But thank you all so much for watching. Seriously, if you like what you saw, please give this video a like. Leave a comment on what you thought about it, and I'm going to make some more fucking reviews on obscure and weird shit. So why not subscribe if you want to see that, and I'll see you guys later.